So I guess we'll get started. Okay, so I call this meeting to order on September 19th at 5:05 p.m. Roll call.
So I call the roll since I'm acting for Randy then, or do you want?
Yeah, if you want to, that
Okay.
would be fine.
Chair Tony Baker,
Here?
Amy Lenz, Vice Chair. Not here. Randy Neese, Secretary, excused absence. Dale Freund, absent. Hannah Daniels.
Here.
Joe Nesvara.
Here.
Lynn Larson here. Sean Murphy, Trustee Liaison.
Yes.
And Paul Furness, Staff Representative. We have
Anybody on Zoom?
No one is
Nobody.
waiting in Zoom.
Cool.
okay. We have a quorum. We have 4 of us.
All right, thank you. And so the meeting minutes were sent out. Did everybody get a chance to read them, look them over?
Yes.
Any corrections requested or needed? Okay. All right, if there are no corrections,
Oh my gosh, sorry guys.
can I get a motion for approval?
Yes.
Hannah motions for approval, a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Joe. And so the minutes stand approved. All right, and now we go to public comment, non-agenda items. Linda?
My name is Linda Wilson and I live at 1461 Marlette Street here in Berthoud. And I have just a couple items. Number one, the water bill that we get in the information sheet still has 6 p.m. listed for this, so that needs to change. And 2 clarifications. The Colorado law has changed regarding HOAs and that street tree, lawn tree area. They do not have any control over that whatsoever because that is a right-of-way, considered a right-of-way. So they can't issue fines for maintenance issues or anything else. So that's going to be totally on the town of Berthoud to issue any fines for dead trees or lack of maintenance on the trees and things like that. And along those lines, according to your committee and volunteer information, the Town of Berthoud Tree Advisory Committee was formed in 1980 to study, investigate, counsel, develop, and/or update annual plan, written plan of care for preservation, trimming, planting, replanting, removal, and disposal of trees and shrubs in the right-of-way and alleys. So just for clarification, does that right-of-way include that strip that is considered the right-of-way by the HOA, that between the sidewalk and the road, that little green strip?
That's the
You're
right of way,
considering
yes.
that right-of-way, and that's under your jurisdiction, or you'll be addressing those issues then? Okay, thank you. And I think I'm being an official light keeper owner too, so.
Yeah.
every time I need to-
We appreciate that, thank you. Okay, any non-agenda items? Okay. Staff report.
A little differently here. Let's see, we had the EAB treatments for the north part of, I'm calling it the north part of town, all wrapped up. That was around 300 ash trees in public right-of-ways. You might have seen the red tree wraps around them. This included parks like Fickle, Roberts, and Railroad, what we call Railroad, so by these just ash trees. But we finished that up, and we're already ready to submit the measurements for next year and get that into the budget. We got a little bit of construction going on at Vine, and we've been monitoring The excavation, unfortunately, there's not much we can do except just watch these trees get torn to shreds. So this is kind of the average scene out there. They tore out a bunch next to the cottonwood, but nothing's too bad that can't be reversed. But we're going to have to be monitoring that next year, really keeping on the watering and hopefully not stress these trees out any further. We've been doing warranty walkthroughs. Well, I've been doing warranty walkthroughs and new developments going in. We did the warranty walkthrough for Wagner, so hopefully we'll get some of these dead trees replaced out of Wagner and get those addressed. We did a little bit of Russian olive cleanup. Any of the ones we did back in spring are starting to sprout, so I got my crew to just kind of clean up the sprouts, and hopefully we'll stay on top of it, keep them down, and hopefully kill them. Had a couple pictures from warranty walkthroughs. This is the kind of stuff we're looking at on like new construction sites.
Wow.
Tree planted all together way too
Yeah.
deeply. That tree will last like 2 months.
Yeah.
And so I'm pointing this out to them. This is part of, you know, now that I'm kind of hitting the ground running, like full sprint here. Keith has been involving me in a lot more of these, and hopefully we can, you know, hopefully start to not see so many, HOAs kind of have such bad plantings up front. So, you know, identifying problems like this when they're planted initially really helps. Another picture of,
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's planted way too deeply.
Yeah.
Another one, still isn't even climbing the roof, they're getting down to the soil level, so. Just a little bit of branch cleanup. We got an email from Sergeant Anderson, the sheriff here in town. This corner at, I think this is Fifth and Mountain. There's a little bit of sightline disruptance there, so we tried to clean it up. So if you're ever in town driving through that intersection, let me know if it needs to be cleaned up any further.
It looks good now.
It looks good to me. So if you guys, you know, if you still can't see on that intersection, let me know. So
I didn't have to pull all the way out almost in the intersection this time, because I went through there today.
Yeah.
I didn't have to pull all the way out to the intersection to see if any cars were coming.
that's exactly what was
Appreciate
said in
that.
the email. It was like people are having to pull out into that intersection to see. So other than that, just low branch trimmings. And then I'm getting printing bids from a couple of tree companies for Fickle next year. Fickle's looking really rough. Just needs overall pruning for a lot of trees. So I've been getting bids for that. So and then just another note, Tree City USA applications have opened up, and I've been able to log on and see all that. So we're going to start applying here. I definitely wanted to go for another growth award. Actually, just a lot of the work we've been doing this year fits us in to get these points for the growth award. I don't know if any of you have looked at it, but there's like hundreds of categories that are all scored, you know, anywhere from like 2 to 10 points, and all your town has to do is reach 10 points to be eligible for a growth award. So like a lot of the work we've already been doing this year counts for a growth award. So we're going to try to definitely go for that. I think it's 13 years in a row for growth awards, so I don't want to be the guy who drops the ball on that.
Yeah.
That would not be good. So I guess this could fit into number 7, but number 7, the communication plan. I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Some exciting news. The town hired somebody as like a communications media chair, somebody who's going to monitor all that kind of managing the town's face to the community. So she will handle everything, Facebook, website. She'll do the water bills, newsletters, although I think that might have just been the rec. LinkedIn, Nextdoor, and possibly more. So she might be our direct channel to getting in on all this stuff.
Nice.
So we can discuss what we want to get out there when we get to the communications plan. But that's exciting news because she's really, I got to meet with her. She's very excited about taking on the position, and I already told her, like, this is exactly what, we've been working on as a committee, so I think I was the first one to email her, and she's excited to work with us. So we got somebody, ready to work with us on that.
Wasn't she involved with the naming of David Bowie as well?
I think so.
Yeah,
I might
I
have
think
been her
she was at the town trustees meeting.
Oh, okay.
So, that was fabulous.
Stephanie
Actually,
Horvath.
Came over from the water department.
Nice.
So I had like
Okay.
both sides of that. But yeah, so nothing else out there.
Fabulous. All right, so next order of business is the Birthday Tree Advisory Committee history presentation. And this is going to be a bit shorter than the first one because I'm not going to read the ordinances.
Which one do you want to start with? Which one do you want to start with?
We're gonna start with the Tree City USA Standards, Standard 2. So this is the second presentation to highlight information we may need to know. The purpose of these presentations are not only to inform the members of this committee, but also to give us the knowledge that we can then relay to anyone that has questions. This is the second standard for the Tree City USA recognition. The town needs a tree care ordinance. A public tree care ordinance forms the foundation of a city's tree care program. It provides an opportunity to set good policy and back it with the force of law when necessary. The key section of a qualifying ordinance is one that establishes the tree board or forestry department, or both, and gives one of them the responsibility for public tree care as reflected in Standard 1. It should also assign the task of crafting and implementing a plan of work or for documenting annual tree care activities. Qualifying ordinances will also provide clear guidance for planting, maintaining, and or removing trees from streets, parks, and other public spaces, as well as activities that are required or prohibited. Beyond that, the ordinance should be flexible enough to fit the needs and circumstances of the particular community. And so the town implemented ordinance number 1181 and ordinance number 1266. Ordinance number 1181 is an ordinance for the protection of trees. Like I said, I'm just going to highlight it. I really encourage everyone to read these later. I did send them out. But it provides for the town arborist position, which is our very own Mr. Furness. And the town manager may designate or contract for services of a person to be known as a town arborist. And their powers follow. They have pretty much God power. That's kind of you can do anything that is in service of protection of the trees. Inspection, removal, or treatment of infected or infested trees, power to trim trees and collect costs. And then the rest of it talks about licensing required for tree services. But it definitely lays out what our arborist is allowed to do and what it gives him the right and the ability to be able to enforce these different laws. Ordinance number 1266 talks about the street tree work permit for performing maintenance on trees located within tree lawns. And so this just gives the rules and regulations of how it can be done, that a permit needs to be acquired. People can't just hack up their trees, however they see fit. So it gives, it has to have good cause for a tree to be removed, it lays it out for us. And with that one, there's also a section that the Town of Berthoud Tree Planting Standards. It talks about the different requirements for planting a tree, the size of it, the condition, the materials, the installation of them. It really kind of, like, again, lays it out. So, the last thing, and I'm not gonna go too quickly into it, or too deep into it, is just the code of ordinances. The Berthoud Development Code, Section 2, Design Standards. This is our landscape design for the, for developments. And it really kind of lays out how it's supposed to be done, how the developers are supposed to put in trees, what kind of trees. It talks a lot about native trees, and that they should be used wherever possible. This is kind of a very shortened version because there's just so much information. I could not, I don't want to read you, 30 minutes of stuff that may have you guys falling asleep. So for this, I really just kind of wanted to say, this is the information. This really, a lot of what, Linda was concerned about, this absolutely, lays it out and tells us what's right, what's not right, what they should be doing. And then also gives us, what we can do to them. So, although some of it may be too late, you give them too long to fix things. But now that you're on the job, I have every faith that we will start whipping these HOAs into shape. Right? Let's get these HOAs on. Crack the whip. So I'll open the floor for a brief time of questions, and with the direction that I encourage you to reread the ordinances outside of committee time to familiarize yourself with them. Do you have any questions? Yeah, like there's, say, look at that, evergreen.
I guess I have a question. So I've seen in some of the builder plans how the landscaping's included, but it's not in every single one that I've noticed. It's not in mine. How does that work? Like, what's the accountability for the builders to do that? Is that him checking it? Like, when is it approved?
I guess partially I have to be there to approve and inspect the stock at some point, hopefully before install, but stuff moves so quickly. I'll like on last Thursday, for example, I got a call that the new, I think it's called Vantage, just north of the rec center. Keith called me, he's like, hey, they're planting trees, and they had already planted like 10 trees. So, not a lot I can do to get them to fix anything. Luckily, they were doing most of them right, but there's not much I could have done. And for every day like that, I've
Do you
missed.
not approve it? Like,
He's supposed to, but they're doing it without him.
I know, but
Yeah.
if they do it incorrectly, shouldn't he have the authority to
To
say,
find them and
you need
fix
to do
it.
this
Yep.
right? Because probably this is a conflict of interest, but I live in a new build community where it has not been done right, and I'm hoping there's someone like you that comes in that is providing oversight for that.
I think at best here, we're just going to try to catch it before, situations like that keep happening again.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff
Well,
keeps moving pretty quickly, and we're just trying to stay on top of it. And
Yeah.
And just to kind of give a background, Paul is newer.
Totally.
He's not new to
Yeah.
forestry
Yeah.
or arborist stuff, but to the position, to
Sure.
the, I guess, responsibilities and being able to do those things. So a lot of these things were done before
Yeah.
he was ever even here. So he's trying to play catch up.
Totally understand. Like, we're in a low resource environment for sure, but like as a homeowner, like I'm now responsible for how the builder did this. And if you're gonna hold me accountable, like where's the quality assurance there? And so that's where I'm coming from, just being a homeowner, but I also feel for like the others around me and where they're coming from. And knowing that like a tree was put in incorrectly or before water was installed, just to be on the responsibility of the homeowner now.
In theory, when a new development is presented to the planning commission,
Yeah.
former planning commission member, in theory, there's landscaping requirements, and that's part of the approval of the, and we've talked about this, since I've been on this committee. When is that gonna come to us so we can look at it, And they said, no, the town has some outside consultants, as I understand it, that are supposed to help and make sure that the plan that comes in is correct and goes according to our ordinances. And then, of course, from the planning commission, it goes to the trustees, and the trustees sort of have to depend upon the planning commission and that process to make sure that it's been approved correctly. Part of that now, they tell me, in theory, it comes to Paul and his staff. I don't know how much you really see them or how much this outside group, you depend upon them to look at. So there is supposed to be a process for the new developments.
Sure. So being in a new build community, I had to fight them because they were putting a juniper directly over top of my AC unit, which is a major fire risk, and that's a big concern of mine. And I had to fight them to put it somewhere else. I'm the only house in 50 units that they moved it away from the AC unit. So not every homeowner knows this. And so I think this is a safety issue. And so like I have to speak up, but I don't want to like commandeer board time
Well,
if we need to move on.
my observation has been that most of the new subdivisions are in turmoil for that type of thing, right? And most of these developer builders get the cheapest landscapers
Yeah.
out there that have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
What they should have been hiring is like true arborists or groundskeepers who actually have a clue what's going on.
I was gonna add to that, all the steps down the ladder, could all be in place and,
Yeah.
cross the Ts and dotted Is. But, it all comes, like, for the trees, it all comes down to, what day they pick to plant them, what time of year they pick to plant them, and, the crews they have to do it, actually a lot of the street trees planted on the other little southern section of that Vantage, they're all planted in the middle of summer, and when I drive past there, like half of them are not looking great,
Yeah.
and they're probably dead. And, it's one thing for their boss to be an arborist or a licensed landscaper, but, the landscapers, they're just trying to get through their day and get 50 trees in the ground, and it's rough. That's what I'm seeing at the ground level is a bit of disconnect, and I don't know if I have to step in there and put my foot down and say you guys need to stop and come back with somebody who knows how to do this. That's what I'm still learning, but yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a messy situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when talking with the builder about this issue, so my landscaping, I'm part of the 7th filing of Heritage Rights, and has not been approved yet. So everything they're saying is like, we need to have this number of trees, this number of shrubs, who cares how it's planted, in for the town to approve it. But like, I think we need to reframe the narrative that like, they need to have this number of healthy shrubs, this number of healthy trees in for the town to approve it, or it's not approved. They quickly change and put resources towards things if the town's not gonna approve it. They added a complete like I added a foot to like my house because the town didn't approve it. So I do think you need to have more teeth when it comes to these builders. Personally, just my unit is not approved yet. Like, there's still room, so.
Yeah.
Just some feedback.
Yeah, it's something I've been talking with too about, maybe praising these contractors that come in and do it right.
Yeah.
I was also doing a warranty inspection for, it's that new neighborhood around that golf course. Of course, they might have the extra money to hire some better crews, but every single tree was planted right, and they all looked fine. And that was after their first year. And so maybe there's some way we could, encourage them to go with the right people instead of the lowest bidder kind of thing. Because I feel like in the span of a whole entire housing complex, landscaping is the lowest like rung, of importance to any developer, which sucks from somebody of my, expertise. I hate to see that, but it shows, a lot of stuff misplanted, yeah, it sucks. But,
I just had a quick question, and just coming from my experience of planning, I've always been focused on kind of the landscaping and how they present the plans. Obviously, that's a very much like a 30,000 foot view of like these developments and stuff, so can't speak to, you know, junipers around AC units, but generally, from what I've seen is most of these plans are compliant, and where we're running into the issues is the execution. Now, I would ask you, Paul, just how do you feel about observationally? Do you feel kind of overwhelmed? Do you get pushback from these contractors when you tell them to fix these things?
No, and in fact, I haven't met with any contractors yet.
Okay.
And I'd like to meet with, you know, not even like the higher up. I wanna talk to the guy who's helping them load the truck for the day.
Sure.
Loading, you know, telling them how to do it, cause I mean, when I was out there planting trees with those guys, I mean, they were like just going for it. I mean, they planted a whole tree in, you know, a minute. I'm talking a ball and burlap tree, a huge tree. And, if my Spanish was a little better, I probably could have stepped in there and given them some pointers, but, you know, I didn't. But the next person I need to go to is the guy sending them out and just making sure he knows, you know, our standards and all that, which, you know, everybody should know if you're a landscaper. And then hopefully he can relay it down to his crew and all that, cause I think, I don't know where my authority lies to like step in and stop everything, but like, you guys are doing everything wrong, like, stop, you know? Because that's kind of on the developer side of everything. I don't know if that would be really fit in.
Well, you've certainly got my backing, Paul, and I can convey that to the rest of the board as well as something you want clarified, but I think we have a pretty clear picture, like, if you wanna go after somebody, like, it's within your authority. Obviously, that's not what we wanna do, we want the trees fixed, you know, first and foremost, but, yeah, I mean, I'd certainly appreciate you letting me know if you run into any issues with any contractors out there and stuff, because I guess from my perspective, this is all about execution out on the ground. So,
Yeah.
that's all I gotta say.
What, can I just ask one more question? Like, what happens for something to be approved? Like, does that go through you or him? Like, for the final, this build is done, this community's done?
Basically, the town will go review this through the planning process, and then the board approves it through multiple layers, and then it's handed off to the developer. They are supposed to develop it in the way that the plan lays out, and then, you know, my understanding is Paul has authority to inspect, fine, discuss things. So that's basically how things work. It's complicated.
Yeah,
That's kind of the simple way to look at it, I guess.
no, as long as there's quality assurance for the homeowner who's then responsible for those trees, that sounds perfect to me.
Linda? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been going to the trustees meeting since May, just to get a feel for what the government is and who I'm going to vote for the next time. I didn't want to be so ignorant. One of the questions I asked them, are the ordinances law? And the lawyer on the board of trustees said yes, in a municipal court, they are law. In your municipal ordinances that go according to the trees, they are law. There are fines for people who do not follow those laws. I see no reason why there isn't enforcement of these developers who are not planting trees correctly. They have the ordinances. They should be reading the ordinances. They should be planting the trees according to what the ordinance is. It's very clear. That was pointed out today, how they are to be planted, exactly how they're to be dug and everything. They're excellent. They are to the national standards. And if they are not enforced, the developers can do anything they want. But you have the law behind you to to enforce them. And that's what's frustrating to me, is the enforcement part is not being done.
Thank you, Linda.
Anything else to add on that?
I would just say that as you get more comfortable and settled into your role, don't be afraid to ask us for help, support, anything that you need to help enforce those, to find out if you're like, what is my recourse for a builder, and you want us to look into that, we can look into that for you and scour the rules and ordinances and find out, okay, because I actually don't see anything where it's specifically, and maybe you've seen it in the ordinances, where it talks about the developers and what they are fined. I see where,
No,
we-
2,600 is the new fine
okay,
for not following the ordinances.
okay. And I hadn't like read it word for word, so I was like, I don't know where it's at. But yeah, if you need us to find that for you, or if you need our help in any way, you know, that's what we're here to do, is to support you and to be your bulldogs. So,
Yeah, what is it, yeah, this whole landscaping thing, trust me, I've already given it a good comb through. But yeah, kind of figuring out how Berthoud has handled it in the past has been tough.
well, and some of that is like trying to retroactively reinforce or fine, like for her, the builder, now yours
Yeah,
hasn't
you're
been
fine.
approved yet, but the builder didn't do it right. But imagine if she bought the house 3 years from now, where it hadn't been taken care of, because we have a lot of that. We have a lot of where the builder didn't do it, but the warranty expired and they're no longer, you know, they're no longer on the hook for it. And it's like, do we fine the property owner because they were given a bum tree? We had the program where we were trying to help property owners replace trees, but it got abused.
Mhm.
So it's like we really wanted that to be more for people where something happened, not just because the developer put in all the wrong trees. So we're trying to work with people and let Paul get up to speed and figure out what he needs as far as staffing or whatever to be able to get these, you know, fixed and looked at. So, yeah, whatever you need.
So I would be happy to volunteer, and I'm sure other people would also, to like, I probably can't do it for my own community for conflict of interest, but like I'd be happy to help with this, like volunteer wise. Whether it's like looking at other communities or what, but like to be honest, like the builder is like the main person that should be accountable for this. And I know there's more builds and there's more coming than people, and so if I can be part of that solution, I'd love to.
I mean, I think just the way these are popping up everywhere, you know, I'm trying to focus on what's going on in town.
Yeah.
I literally would not get anything done if I was driving to every single new housing development looking for, you know, what all these enforcements and all that stuff. So it would have to be something we catch like on a planting day. So like if you were ever in Berthoud and you saw, you know, trucks full of plants or something, just to give me the heads up. And, you know, I think I'd have the authority to at least go out there and introduce myself, but again, I'm not really speaking to, you know, like foreman or anything. I'd be speaking to the laborers, so I don't know, again, like what exactly I'd be able to say, but that's where I've got to start collecting numbers. I've got to start getting to know people. I've got to start, you know, just, yeah, getting out there.
What about having a tree code enforcement person?
It's kind of Teresa, honestly.
Is it?
Teresa
Yeah, but
Reed.
she's got so many, she got everything.
I know, yeah.
I mean, like someone, or have a form where like, if they're gonna do plantings, they have to have a form where they let you know, hey, we're planting this day,
There has to be a
so that you
process.
know that, so that you can go out there and,
That's something
like, they can't plant unless you have that information.
And that's something we had a meeting with town administrators about, you know, getting better at this process. And, that was a big thing that came up, that at least I felt like I could jump right in there, was, just being notified when these plantings were going on. You know, being able to get on the phone with the developer, you know, walk through our code, all that stuff.
Yeah.
While it's, you know, applicable, not after the fact kind of thing.
Right.
I think, the town's trying to be a little more proactive than retroactive. Kind of going back, unfortunately. We'll see what we can do there, but, you know.
It's almost as if we're outgrowing, or we're growing too fast where we can't keep up with the infrastructure side of things.
I mean, we are only 2 people.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, for what we've got on the ground for trees and stuff, I mean, your department should probably be double or even triple. If we look at some of the other folks around us and what they have in comparison, and then scale it down to our population.
Mhm.
I would go out and probably say we're understaffed immensely.
So the builders are used to checks and balances and having accountability on all areas of a build. So like, I don't think they're going to balk at having, you might know better.
Oh, they will.
They will, but if they have a rule, like literally they added a foot to my house because the town enforced it, and that's money, like, they're
Mhm.
going to do it if the town makes them.
And if it's just a matter of having someone that they, like, informing someone that they're gonna be there, you know, they have to give notice.
That'd be a good
that-
way to go
of
about it.
their scheduling.
Yeah.
So
Like,
is
they know
there,
when they're gonna plant the trees,
Is
they have to
there-
order them.
is there a possibility to add into the building permit? Because when I built houses up in Grand County, certain subdivisions, there was actually a line item for landscaping sign off. It had to be signed off, where somebody came in that was qualified and said, nope, 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 yes, yes, yes. So these two need to be redone, they'll call me back and I'll sign off before they can get the certificate of occupancy. Does that give us a little bit of teeth to like make them a little bit more responsible and accountable? I mean, I know it adds to your workload.
Mhm.
It doesn't make sense.
I mean, I haven't gotten anything across my desk like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something they're willing to, you know, give me. I don't know who has been signing off on that.
It's not about willing, it's about squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what
and-
can we do
So,
to help you get that?
True, very true.
Yeah, like how, that's a great idea, Joe.
we're kind of in a situation where, I hate to use this analogy, but it's a dollar tripping over a dime to pick up a penny.
Yep.
Again, I hate to use that analogy, but that's kind of where we're at. And so now we gotta figure out where the root cause is. Does it make sense to add in that extra inspection thing on the car before they get their certificate of occupancy? I mean, based on what I'm hearing and from all folks, sounds like yes. Based on what I see in the newer subdivisions,
Yeah.
I would say yes. But again, I'm not in that position to say this is what we need.
How's your work schedule, Paul?
You're supposed to be planting trees. Like, I haven't gotten to that. I'm tied up with watering the trees we have planted for like 2 days out of every week. I don't know where I can.
We need more volunteers.
Yeah. I know.
Anyone can plant a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, volunteers would help, but with enforcement, it has to be somebody. I mean,
Mix.
I know, I mean, we really don't have a building inspector department, and we use an outside source for inspections. Do they have that capability to do that too? I mean, it's worth the questions. I'm just trying to figure out what makes the most sense for our town. To make sure that we don't have row upon row upon row of dead trees, you know, and then you get these folks out here with all the leaders that are dead and just, oh look, my tree's still alive, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
holding the builders accountable for putting in what they said they would put in.
Yeah.
A healthy tree.
Well, that and, is there something in there that says diversified species, like you can't have like multiples of the same in thing, or how's? Because you look at my subdivision, it's basically oaks and maples and some catalpas, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Just throwing some ideas, see what sticks to the wall.
Mhm.
I think that's a great idea. I think having, and I don't know, can you ask to be able to hire another person?
Writing this down.
Or even like high school students or summer
Ask.
intern.
The worst that can happen is they say no.
Yeah.
And then you can say, okay, well, I need an extra person to be able to accomplish these things. And if you say no, these things aren't going to get taken care of.
So then the other question is with the struggles we're having on maintaining these developers and the trees and stuff. I mean, does that jeopardize the Tree USA stuff?
And then, this is another thing that came up in the town is, because it's come up before is, developers will put a warranty on the stuff they install, like a year warranty. And so, usually they'll install, and then right before their year warranty period comes up, they'll go through and replace everything.
Oh, sorry.
And polish everything up and then make sure it looks good, to get the sign off, and then there's no warranty after that period. So whatever was used to polish up the neighborhood and make it all look squeaky clean before the write-off, isn't on warranty itself. So they could have gotten literally the bottom of the barrel that was just green and planted it wrong, but everything's upright and everything's in a hole and it looks okay, and then they sign off and apparently are never heard from again and can't be contacted. So that's another thing we're looking into is like, how do we not get that happening again?
Change the warranty to 3 years.
That's not a bad idea.
Because I can tell you the developers will plan them right if they have to take care of them after 3 years. They'll make sure that those trees are going to, get what they need and that they're done right. But they're not just gonna die.
Yeah, and to be honest, so I'm part of an HOA and a metro district, and and like many of my neighbors feel pretty taxed by whether it's the HOA or the town. We can't really differentiate what that is. And so if someone's gonna come in and say, this tree's wrong, you gotta replace it, it's hard to swallow that when you've already paid towards all these different sources and no one's accountable. Being like a new homeowner in the town, like that's just a feeling that I have and many of my neighbors have.
It'd be different if the developer did it right, but it's
Yes,
not something
and then
you
I would
did.
be fine maintaining it. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's not something where it's like, oh, something happened, a lightning strike. Then you have, homeowner's insurance or
Yeah,
whatever. You can
sure.
say, hey, it destroyed my tree and,
Sure.
it's gonna cost me $5,000 to replace it. Then homeowners will
Yeah.
help you. But to just have to foot the bill
Yeah, for sure.
because
I
it
just
was
think we need to be a
neglected.
homeowner-friendly town versus letting the builders off.
Yeah.
Because the homeowners are the ones that are going to be here after that warranty
Right.
lapse.
So, yeah, extend the warranty and a sign off, a landscaping sign off. I think those are two really great and additional
Do you have any
forestry
thoughts, Sean?
department employees.
No, I've got a lot of homework to do.
Well, and I can tell you probably based on her opinion, I know the majority of Hammond Farm feels that way, and I bet you every one of these have at least half, if not more, of these people being frustrated, pulling their hair out with all this stuff.
Yeah, that was why Randy joined.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
he has the
exactly.
same problem.
And we don't know where to place that frustration. Like I don't know if it's my HOAs at the town, and so I think it is important to distinguish that this is what the town's requiring, this is what your HOA is requiring, and this is what being a homeowner requires. Just some thoughts. Don't want to overshare.
No, that's perfect. Thank you. That helps a lot. It gives us something to actually, like someone that is in it and knows, so. Okay, do we have, that was a lot longer than I had planned on, but it went through a lot of things.
That was productive.
So, moving on, yes, we're good with that. You've got some good ideas, you've got some good things. We'll revisit next month, see how things
We
are
stomped on
going.
that one pretty good.
Huh?
I said we stomped on that one pretty good.
Yeah, we did. That one made wine.
Isn't the new budget process coming to the trustees pretty soon?
Be coming up pretty quick.
So we're putting in our request that you
Strengthen
add
that
that
department.
into the budget.
Yeah.
Well, next month is the, for the standard, it's the one that talks about money. So that's a good one. Talks about the per capita. Okay, so moving on. The communications plan, approved post for upcoming quarter. Amy had sent us some things, but it sounds like we're getting a new person. So
Great.
that, I think we can set up a meeting or have her come next month or,
I'll see how she wants to, I mean, it'd probably be best just to work something out in here and I can send it to her, like, we'll come to an agreement.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were gonna do is we were going to look at what we have designed, finalize it, and then we send it on to get it put onto the social media, or did I
with Keith.
misunderstand?
No, that was
Did I
it.
misunderstand that?
But we also have someone else that's going to be taking over that, so it won't be going to Keith anymore.
But whoever it goes through, right?
Okay.
I guess it goes to Paul and then he
Mhm.
runs, I thought
Okay.
that was how we were
Yeah.
supposed to do it.
Nope,
Again,
that works then.
if I'm misunderstanding that, then please correct me, but.
No, that's how I understood it before. I
Okay.
was thinking maybe things were changing because of her taking over. Would we be sending it straight to her?
It would be
Or is it
nice to
still
meet
going
her.
through you?
It'll go through me to her, cause she'll
Okay.
bounce edits back and forth, and if she wants it looking a little different, then I'll, tweak it, send it back, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And, she'll be probably better than Keith. Keith has got a million other things on his plate, rather than just logging into Facebook to.
Okay,
copy
I
paste
misunderstood that. Okay,
So
thank you.
this will be much nicer for us, because it'll be someone like solely focused on it. She'll probably even remind me certain months.
Mhm.
Go ahead, finish.
So yeah, she already wants to come up with like a plan, for when we'd be posting and stuff like that. So
Okay.
she's all in on it.
I wish Amy was here.
So does it make sense to maybe invite her to, say, the next meeting so she can get to know us and kind of get a feel of what we're thinking, the direction we wanna go? Cause I mean, speaking in our voice, I think is an important aspect that we wanna ensure transfers from this board onto.
Yeah, just
Social
kind of
media.
like a meet and greet since it's a new.
Yeah. And she doesn't have to be here for the whole thing.
Yeah, no, just we'll make her,
And we could even make her number right after the public comment,
yeah, I was gonna say,
or right before the public comment
Right.
too.
no, public comment usually isn't too long. so.
No, I mean,
After.
it's whatever.
Linda's our only public commenter.
No, keep it short if anything.
You always keep it short.
So, yeah,
I'll see if she wants to come. I'll let her.
we are inviting her to our next meeting.
Okay. I have written that.
All right. So, with that said, the things that Amy sent through, did everybody get a chance to look at them?
When were they sent? I don't remember anything else with that.
I actually don't remember seeing that either.
Okay. Paul, do you have it? Okay.
You,
This is other
Are we talking about those two graphics we've had for months?
Yes, but it also included a bunch of hold on,
some
let me pull it
links or something.
up. Yeah.
I haven't gone to all those links.
I don't even remember one links.
I remember the initial one, but I don't know that we got one after that.
I think here we go. Facebook and Instagram examples. Oh, she just sent it to you and me.
Uh-huh.
Is her memory's working, Joe?
So, can you put that up on the screen, that email?
when was it from?
It was on Thursday.
Oh,
September 15th at 3. Come on, tell me. It won't tell me. It was 3 something. It's cut off. It's got the little dots after. So like 3:05, 3:57, I don't know. And it was to you and me.
What day was it again?
September 15th. So. Four days ago. Okay, I'm going to forward it to you really quick so that you have it right in your face. Maybe, come on. Oh, I can't like one bar, come on. Okay, so she has a lot of really great links and ideas in there. She is, of course, being the extension agent, she is amazing. My phone's now like just eternally loading because I was gonna forward it to you, and it's like loading. I have like 1 bar.
I think Sean
Oh.
has to leave soon.
Oh, that's all right. I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
Maybe excuse Chairwoman Baker, or actually I have one comment, before I go.
Go ahead.
You guys have any follow-up with me, feel free to email me. I'll definitely be mulling some of these ideas over and stuff over the next month. As far as the interviews and stuff, if you would be happily appoint somebody, whether it's you, Tony, or somebody else on the committee to be on the interviews, they would be next Monday, I believe at 6. I can certainly send details after the meeting, so.
Is anybody opposed to me doing it again?
Next Monday, what's next Monday? No, I'll be in Dallas.
Okay.
Sorry.
No pose. I'm happy to help too, if ever you can.
I'll go ahead and do it then.
All right, that sounds great.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, you guys.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay. It finally quit loading. Let's see how long it takes to send now.
Was there any topics do you think we should cover? I think we came up with quarterly, kind of like 3 posts, just kind of do a quarterly plan, and we can just get that out there, maybe refine.
I thought we were gonna do monthly, but approve them like
Quarterly,
Yeah,
yeah.
3 or
yeah,
4 worth, get it, and then just schedule it once a month for the
Yeah.
postings or something.
Yeah, but maybe we just have this like conversation quarterly.
Oh, yeah. No. That way, yeah, at least we can get the stuff going.
Yeah, in her email,
I thought,
she,
I don't mean to think, but I thought Sean instructed that any type of correspondence like that should have been copied to the entire committee, according to
no, if
the
it's
laws.
copied to the entire committee, then it is considered official, has to be recorded correspondence.
Gotcha. Okay,
If
that's
it's
where I
to
did
more,
read.
if it's to 3 or more.
Gotcha.
So because it was just to me and Paul, it's not official. Which is probably why she did it.
Okay.
It's good to know.
Because she would, I didn't get anything from her saying that she wouldn't be here. I don't remember. Paul, do you remember, did Amy say anything?
Didn't get anything today.
So, do you have it yet? No, well, it may take a minute. 'Cause
You may have to step out.
I don't have
man.
service in here
Right?
either. It must be like
I got 2 bars now. Like the TV, like the rabbit ears from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
TV
there
back
you
in the
go.
day.
I didn't think
Um,
you were that old that you can remember rabbit ears on televisions.
How old do you think I am? And I'm not gonna say it because we're recording.
A lot younger than me.
How old are you?
Do you really want me to tell you?
We're being recorded.
Oh, well, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to.
Age is just a number, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Let's say, a month ago I turned 79.
Congratulations.
I will be hitting the
That's an
big 80
accomplishment.
next year, so.
Okay, yeah, you are a bit older.
I'm just a
wiser.
bit older.
But not, yeah, not as older much as you might think. I have one of those, like my family, we are very young looking.
Yeah, well,
My
most
dad
people
is-
think I'm about, or they used to think I was about 10 to 15 years younger than I really am, so.
Yeah, my dad's heading towards 80, and he looks like he's in his 40s or 50s. It's ridiculous, except for his white hair. That makes him that dates him. But his face, like when because he'll shave his head every now and then, he looks 20 years younger.
Mhm.
So anyway, it says in here, it has the tree planting tips, the tree watering tips, the October, November, and December articles and links to try and oh. Here's where she tells us she won't be here.
Ah.
I was so interested in the links, I didn't read the very last sentence.
While we're waiting for that, so I just had a question. So it sounds like the town is, with like the design plans and like the 2021 strategic plan, they're really moving towards like rear-loaded garages, which means like the front of their house is technically on the opposite side. So I don't know how that works as far as like the trees in front of their house. I know like the trees in front of my house are on Canyonlands, which my address is 693 Crosville, so it's not on Canyonlands. I'm in a paired home. I don't own that strip in front of Canyonlands. I'm just wondering if this is like going to be a trend with the town, with the rear-loaded garages, which on a lot of like the new build plans that I'm seeing on the town plan. I'm just wondering how that works and if we need to adjust our strategy to factor that. Not to commandeer the town's or the board's time.
So the tree lawn, you don't own that property?
I don't believe I own that property, and I don't believe if the trend goes and there's all these rear-loaded properties where we don't own that strip. Like my address is not Canyonlands, it's Crosville, even though the front of my house faces Canyonlands.
Are you on a corner?
No, I'm on Canyonlands.
Because I know that Sean's gone, but last winter, concerning snow removal and some of that kind of
Yeah.
thing, there was discussion like along Spartan, the houses on the north side of Spartan and west of the high school, they've got board fence all along that sidewalk, and they don't have any access to that sidewalk. For them to come out and clean the sidewalk, they'd have to come out all the way around the block and go to, and it made no sense. So the city decided that they were going to take responsibility for cleaning the sidewalk. Now, I don't know how that works for the trees on the tree lawn on Spartan along there. You see, you would think that would become, by the same notion, it should become the city's responsibility at that point.
I think it's actually, so right now, so I pay extra because the HOA is responsible for all the landscaping, including like tree maintenance, water, like anything that's not like potable water is part of my HOA dues.
Well, see, in your case, you'd have an HOA that you'd think would be responsible.
Yeah.
For,
How does that work
for
with the
those people, there's
ordinance?
no HOA, so they have a little bit more of a problem.
Sure.
But with an HOA, then it would transfer from the town to the HOA, I would think, in that case, but that's just my opinion, but.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think through this because there's several like that are up. Anyone could buy them at these points. Communities that are going to be happening just south of us. So this is going to be a problem for someone else eventually. So just trying to think through it as someone that's currently dealing with that.
Did it go?
Well, whenever that gets to me, I will look it over.
Okay.
Is there anything
Well, I
specific?
think it was just kind of her ideas. It wasn't like necessarily a full post.
Mhm.
It was just kind of an idea for us to look at. and kind of decide, so. I would say take the information and, cause I looked at it, it looked like cool information. I'm not an extension agent or a master gardener or, I just love my trees, so. If it's good information, then absolutely we should post it, so.
This is stuff I can talk to, the new media person, her name's Stephanie.
Mhm.
I can see how many, like, how often we can get onto, like, the water bills and,
Oh.
I guess we have a town next door, so, I can ask, you know, the forestry page is something we can always, you know, do our own updates on, but I could see, you know, how often we can get stuff in on the water bills, maybe we can even get our own little corner of the water bill, something that reaches everybody every time.
You said the town has something called Nextdoor? Is
Yeah.
that the same thing that you said you?
That was one of them, yeah. And the town doesn't have it as far as I know. The rec center does though, and the historical society does.
So they're kind of like a Facebook or whatever type.
It's
of-
more like a digital bulletin board, so like
Digital
things come
bulletin
up, you put
board.
things in there and stuff.
Okay.
Unfortunately, most of the time, it's just people like,
Lightning.
you know,
Talking.
yeah.
So, but there's multiple ones in town, then, is what you're saying, like?
Yeah,
multiple
yeah, I think
group
there's one,
Facebooks?
I know there's one for Hammond Farms.
Okay,
I know there's one for Silver Star. Did I say that right? I'm sure there's one for Heritage and Wagner and all the different
Okay.
subdivisions.
I'll
and
send
stuff.
you an email, so I ask you to send, instead of taking down notes on it, so,
Oh, I have no idea. I'm not part of any of them.
no,
So.
okay. But you know about them. Oh,
Are we going to send this out to all of the people on our list then, the subdivision contact people?
well, that's the next thing that we have to talk, we'd have to talk about, once they get this all approved, to see how, if it's gonna go into these Facebook things, then I need to get that table of mine updated. Linda did an excellent job going around and getting all the contacts for her area that she took for the town to get HOA and Metro District contacts. So I think we have to send it through them and then decide how we're gonna do it with these other contacts, who's gonna take care of doing that. Yeah,
Okay. I
But-
see.
I just got that, Tony.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, sorry.
that's good.
So this is kind of like the links. I see these all the time. These are extension agent articles. One thing, I think any of these posts are going to have to be, you know, straight to the facts. 2 sentences,
Sure.
3 sentences, and a picture, like
Yeah.
you know, good picture.
2 to 3 bullet points and
Yeah.
what we're trying
And
to.
then like a link like this at the end for anybody who's interested. So something like that. So we can, you know, maybe summarize why you should read this article, something like that. I think it was something said in that communication meeting about how people don't engage with just blocks of information thrown at them. They want to be engaged some way. I'll have to talk to her more about what exactly that means, but we definitely want
Called
to.
a hook. You gotta hook someone.
That's why cat and kitten photos are so popular on social media, right?
I'll
So
work on my
Surprise, kitty.
styles.
Yeah. No, I studied public relations in school, so I only know that one term, but otherwise.
So, yeah, it looks like, tree planting trips, tree watering tips, yeah, October, fall,
That's
winter
great.
watering, that's what we need to be getting on here.
Yeah.
And tree wraps.
yeah, those should go out probably
Mhm.
next month, I would think.
So I can try to.
Well, that's what she has, October, November, and December listed.
Yeah,
For
so
each, one for each.
I'm having to squint. I forgot my reading glasses. in the car,
I feel you.
So I can, I'll just try to like, you know, condense these down into like a couple little word bites. I don't want them even to be like a paragraph. I want it to be like, you know, 3 pages, nice picture or an infographic to go with them. And I'm just thinking Facebook right now, but,
Well, no, that will transfer to whatever social media. I mean, you can reuse that over and
Yeah.
over and over. I think it'd be Nextdoor will work, and if you guys have Instagram or whatever, all that stuff works. Once you get it out on the Berthoud page, then the rest of us can share it again to our subdivisions respectively and
Yeah.
hopefully go from there.
But yeah, I think this is good. Do you guys find anything you wanna send to me as well? Anything cool you see out there, cool you see in town? I always need pictures of of the town. I find myself, you know, I'm supposed to take a lot of pictures for, you know, just stuff we're doing around town, and I find myself with no pictures at the end of the month. So if you guys get some good pictures, you know, like cool sunlight coming through the tree, something like that, send that to me. You know, good B-roll photos for posts. That's always good.
So, does it make sense if you come up with like a graphic to send it out to all the committee members? And yes, it has to be recorded at that point, I get it. But then we can say yay or nay, or hey, what about this? So that maybe we can get that ball rolling and not wait till the next meeting. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I'm not trying to,
That could be something I bring up like quarterly. And just say, hey, this is my link for, you know, let's say if we start rolling this in January, this is January, February, March.
yeah. Well, and the only reason I'm saying is because we want to try to get that fall watering in there sooner than later.
Mhm.
You know, but I mean, we've been trying to get this going for a long time.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, waiting another month to go over a quarter's worth of posts, does it make sense? I'm okay with that, but does this with one post, not the rest of just one, get it out and say, hey, what do you guys think of this, yay or nay? And if we all say yay or a majority says yay, then it can go out from there, right? Or if somebody comes up with a good idea, then tweak it just a little bit. I'm just trying to get,
Expedite it,
just once we get rolling, I think it'll just
yes.
work its way through. It's just getting that rock up and over the hill is
I'd be fine not even being included if it expedites it, cause I think he makes a good point that like the tape and the, you know, it's kind of making us a little stagnant. We know it's important, but if there's a way to expedite it.
Well, I mean, it's quick for me, you know, I'll send these to Stephanie.
Yeah.
That's where if you guys wanna find like stuff, maybe can y'all share it to each other? Is that technically not allowed? Like, if I wasn't involved, like as a group of like-minded, interested individuals.
Town citizens.
Yeah,
It's,
and then you
well, this
guys,
is technically official committee stuff that
Yeah.
we've, you
I
know,
know.
so it
but
have
it's,
to be.
if it's more than 2 people,
yeah.
it's a recorded meeting. More than 2 committee members, it's a recorded meeting,
Mhm,
or it needs to be recorded,
mhm.
is what the rules, the sunshine laws say. So,
So,
um,
but
But I mean, if we have to wait till the next meeting, then so be it,
Mhm.
right?
Well, how about by next meeting I come up with,
Well, I know Amy has a couple already done graphics that I think, but that, you know, maybe that's something that we roll out early spring or something like that, maybe that makes more sense there, and that's fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think we do need to get the fall, winter stuff rolling, and then we can address this again, and, you know,
Spring.
instead of just canceling a meeting in December, maybe we plan social posts, just have a relaxed December meeting and, hey, let's get the first part of the year done with posts and stuff, maybe. I don't know. It's just an idea.
Good idea.
well, yeah, more info to come as I talk to Stephanie, seeing formats and all that stuff. The town hired her as like a, you know, push to make media more congruent and all that stuff, so, it's not like I just send her stuff and she posts it. It's gonna be some back and forth. We might, yeah, so it's gotta bounce between me and her after we get something finalized, so we can just, we'll see how it goes with that. I don't know. All new. But, I will work on bringing some, examples for the next time. And we'll just see if you guys are liking it, if there's anything you'd like to change, and then I'd say just keep the info coming. If you see something exciting, I'll bring up something. And then, yeah, we'll figure out what these other channels look like. Like, I've never seen Nextdoor. I don't get the water bills, so, yeah. Is it just one page front and back, or is it like a little?
Yeah,
No, it's just
This
run
is
back.
two
No,
of
it
them.
is.
This is
Okay.
from,
That's the one
this is
thing I
from
read.
August 21, and this is from May of 22.
They've
This
come
talks about
back.
our Tree City USA community.
I think
this
they used to
one
be
Thing I
before.
read.
actually
I don't
has
read any other
our
bills.
removal. This one actually has our trees and removal of brush.
Okay.
So if you want to look at them. But,
But I don't know if we can get on that monthly or not because of
Yeah.
just the sheer shortage of space.
Yeah.
But I thought we talked about maybe if we can get in there like once a quarter on that particular one and then, monthly post or something,
Well,
again, it's a work in progress, right?
one thing I kind of liked about Randy's idea is like put a QR code on here, in
Yep.
Oh,
the
yeah.
forestry corner, and then it
Yep.
like
Yep.
goes straight to, the
The
news
website.
article on our website or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
exactly.
And that way it only takes up the size of the postage stamp in the bottom corner.
Mhm.
I can discuss this, see if
Yeah,
that would
and
be
you
something.
could add a question, like have questions about tree maintenance or something like that. Like that's the hook. Like
Yeah, the hook. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
is it really your tree?
yeah. Want to know how
That's
to
a-
make your tree look good?
That's a good that's a good hook. Everybody would be like, "What? Is it my tree? I don't know."
Tony, I got a question relating to this, because it brings up why she didn't send the stuff to the rest of us. Can you go back and, at some point and check again? If we have, all of our email exchanges probably are available to the public. But if we're just sending information to the other committee members and we're not asking for any decisions, we're just sending information, is that the same thing as holding a meeting in which we come up with some decisions and, make,
So if it's something like I'm sending, like I send all the documents.
right,
That's not part of a meeting.
No.
But if I send it and someone else replies and they start talking about things,
yeah, that's the problem.
then that's a meeting.
Yeah.
And then it has
That's
to be
where education
recorded.
comes in, like committee education for sure.
So, yeah,
If you
it's
just
like,
send it
so,
for our next
it-
committee meeting, no discussion, no replies
Right, like,
until that time.
yeah, like I sent the documents, there shouldn't be other discussion
Right.
on like, oh, well, hey, are we gonna talk about this or are we gonna talk, like, then that's part of the
I mean,
meeting.
I guess even with the minutes, send out the minutes and no discussion about that until you get to the meeting.
Well, he sends them to me and Paul,
Oh, okay,
and then because
You
this
edit.
last one I corrected him on a few things,
okay.
because he was way too in depth. So it was like, nope, we need to scale that back,
Okay,
because it was not, like, the meeting minutes are not meant to give a verbatim
No,
of what we
no.
said. So that was
Maybe
something.
maybe like
But
a
he's-
little bullet point of like this is how we are as a committee, because I don't know if all of that's intuitive. You know what I mean? Like don't reply or like a reminder of the sunshine rules, things like that. Maybe that's helpful for all of us.
Yeah, well, Sean sent something out about the sunshine rules.
He
so-
did.
And I really think that's why Randy and Amy have only been sending to
Yeah.
just a couple people,
okay.
so.
No, you're right.
But, and as chair, I always end up being the person
Yeah.
that gets sent stuff, so.
I'm thinking like for the future, like we have our takeaways from seeing those, we know now, but like for the future, other members that as we're recruiting now,
Yeah.
that might be helpful for them.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I kind of want to have, whenever we have new members.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing
Like a
this.
checklist.
Yeah, have a checklist of, okay, these are the proper ways to do things.
No, that's great.
Yeah, I didn't have that when I started.
Well, you even have to be careful about, okay, I'll send it to you, then I'll send it to you, and then I'll send it to you. But, we've had some state organizations that have gotten into big trouble because then they sent it out individually, so it was only one-on-one, but it was the same thing, and so the bottom line, it ended up being considered a committee meeting, so.
Well, but that's also, I mean, in all fairness, that is something that if we are having a discussion and it's committee, then it needs to be public.
Right, right.
If you send something to someone, if you have like a subcommittee, like you and Randy are doing
Yeah.
the,
And Linda, yeah,
Linda's a volunteer.
she's
not-
on too.
She's not an official part of the committee.
Right.
So she doesn't count as a committee member it's, like, so if the three of you are talking, it's fine.
Right.
There's only two people
Right.
that are on the committee. So you can talk to her without it being a meeting.
Right,
But if you include me in it, that's three, that's a meeting.
Yeah.
So, but you guys do that, that's your communication. That's what we were talking about, like subcommittees can only be two people.
Yeah.
You can't have three
Right.
from the committee. So then you come back at a meeting and
Right.
you give updates, or you say, oh, well, this is what we, if you have something important.
Right,
It's like, oh, we had a breakthrough, or, oh, we have completed this or that.
right.
So, but yeah, it's, in all fairness, if we're meeting and talking about something that's, committee related, it should be recorded.
Yeah.
That's the rules, so, if we want to discuss, if we went somewhere and it's not committee related, if we were just like hanging out for beers, it doesn't have to be, even if there's three of us.
Yeah, even
As
there,
long as you don't talk about
Is that
committee.
allowed?
even there, you gotta really be careful, cause it's so easy to slide into.
It is, it really is.
I don't know, I think a planning retreat sounds kind of nice.
Right?
What was he talking about?
I'm totally there with you. We can record it all day
Yeah.
long.
Well, rates are cheaper than Dominion Republic right now.
Yeah, right. Even cheaper in Puerto Rico.
Oof. I can't imagine 4 feet,
Okay.
4 feet of rain.
And that's, they got hit with
So
it.
we have our action for that. You're going to go over those, talk with Stephanie, get some
Extended invite.
feedback. Because, worst case scenario, we meet in October and then you post the October thing. It's still October. It technically works.
It would go out in the November water bill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I hope, we'll see.
Yeah, well, if it was getting into the water bill, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get anything in the water bill. We'll see.
Yeah, that might be kind of sacred, I don't know,
Right.
worth it.
Yeah,
So,
But, yeah, I'll draft up some posts, and I guess if I send them out, when I'm sending out the agenda, that'll give you guys.
Yeah, that'll give us a chance to look it over and then we can discuss it at the meeting.
Everybody will be involved.
Okay.
But yeah, then it would give you guys a chance to see it all
Okay.
before.
Sounds like a
So,
plan.
Okay, well, I will make a note, draft posts,
okay.
and I'll go off of what Amy sent you, and, yeah.
She sent it to you too.
I don't know why I didn't.
Check your spam.
I've been.
Clever. Do you empty your spam every day? No.
I guess I didn't get it. It's weird.
cyberspace.
I would say check because it shows who it came from, right? And my forward it. Check and make sure the email is right. Maybe she typed it in wrong.
I mean, I check that often because I do get important stuff that goes to my spam and my deleted.
Yeah.
So I know to check it like every day now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. We're good with that then?
Yeah.
Okay. So next is discussing the booth at Berthoud Oktoberfest. So we want to have one, yes?
Yeah.
We're having
sounds
one?
like it. So Oktoberfest is Saturday, October 1st from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. For setup,
Yeah.
I think we show up at 10. Whoever wants to be there, it's volunteer. You guys don't have to be there if you don't want to. But if anyone does want to be there, the town does have a booth. I will probably be there. And probably just with the same old information we had, birthday, tree information, town codes, EAB info, all that good stuff. Amy brought so much good info at that last one, and she just left it with me. So, love that tree recommendation lists. Although a lot of the questions ended up being about lawns, but it's all good. But at least that's what I was going to bring. I don't know if there's any other ideas of other stuff to bring. Later husbands, maybe.
No. No.
So is there
I
like
can bring a beer recipe using fresh spruce tips, but that's about the extent I got.
I think that would be a great post.
Right?
There we go. Yeah, that's engaging.
I didn't know you were related to Yule Givens.
So So do people volunteer for this or sign up or how does it work for the booth?
Well,
For the Oktoberfest?
Yeah.
You,
No.
Just show up?
well, yeah, so we'll be there, come heck or
Okay.
high water is what I'm I'm hearing, right? You'll
What?
be there the whole day?
I'll be there the whole day. You don't have to be there. Well, I was thinking actually more like 11 till 3
Yeah,
not the full day.
sure.
And then, Lynn showed up last time. He was only there for a little bit. Amy was there for the other half of the time. It's not like if you're there, you have to be there. You know, if you can only show up for an hour. That's
Besides, it's Oktoberfest, somebody's gotta be a gopher to bring you some adult beverage.
yeah.
Right?
Are dogs allowed?
Yes. No, they're not. Sorry, unless it's an ESA.
It's okay.
Beach.
No, that's only for Puppy Mill Awareness Day that they let dogs.
That's okay.
Oh, dogs, so it doesn't matter.
I have fur
Have
babies, not dogs.
What's that?
I have fur babies, not dogs.
True. Yeah, ours is kangaroo, monkey, to dog with a touch of cat. That's basically it.
Well, if you guys
I
want
have
to.
divas.
Tifa, yeah.
I don't have dogs, I have divas.
Probably 11 to 3 is when I will have the booth there.
Okay.
You're welcome to show up if you want to just hang out, enjoy the vibes, and start some cool. I'll have my own name tag that you made me. Won't forget that. And then I got this is off topic, but I got more Tree City USA flags since our last one was pretty tattered. Actually, the one we had at our booth was the one hanging up at Railroad now, so we got 5 new ones.
Nice,
So we'll have a fresh flag to fly at our booth.
nice.
So, but I don't know. How will we let other people who did not show up know about this
Just
opportunity?
send out a email.
Okay.
Saying, hey, I will be at the booth for Oktoberfest from this time to this time. If you want to show up, you can.
Okay.
Just basically what you
Just
said.
the people that weren't here.
Yeah.
I think last time, I think Amy signed up for the first half and I signed up for the second half. But then my second half ended up being shortened because we decided to shut down, so
We didn't
So
win either.
I helped,
Freaking me
you know,
out.
tear it down, so.
All right. Well, that's my plan. So
I don't know if I can make it this time because we're going out of town in the middle of the following week, but, and, gotta get my wife ready for Sunday morning. So, but-
it's all good.
Maybe for next year, we can work on some like swag or something to give out at this, even if it's like a magnet with the winter tree tips or the wrapping or something like that. Like,
There's some good
people
stuff.
love swag.
There's Josh has got a lot of stuff from True City USA. It's not like super cool. It's like pencils. And
Yeah, still.
and magnets, and there's like a little EAB card that has information and a ruler on it, so you can identify it. So I've got stuff like that. A lot of it's not like swag, cool hip stuff, but it's like information pamphlets on recommended trees and
Yeah,
certain tree varieties and stuff like that. Pretty cool handout, I think. Pretty cool. But,
yeah. People that care about trees will think it's
Not
cool.
like a high schooler's gonna go to school the next day and be like,
They're not the ones that own the trees or take care of the trees. They're not our target audience.
Exactly.
That's why we need a budget with the town for,
Yeah.
for having swag.
We do. I think swag's
Well,
important.
that's something that's in my budget.
Okay.
You guys see
You can get a tree-shaped stress ball.
Oh, they have those.
So I work for neurology, we get brain-shaped stress balls, and I use those everywhere I go.
As long as it doesn't look like this University of Stanford mascot, we're okay.
What?
Have you not seen the University of Stanford mascot? It's a walking sequoia.
Oh man.
Oh,
It's
no,
pretty
no.
freaky.
It's the ones I've seen. I've actually seen a stress ball, and it looks like a little Christmas tree.
Yeah. No,
Like a puppy
those would be
in back.
those would be fun. But yeah, if it looks like the Stanford mascot, we may want to reconsider that design.
Optics.
The tree is their mascot when they're called the Cardinal? It's
Yep.
not even the Cardinals, it's the Cardinal.
I was at a Washington State game and they came up to play and there's this really hideous tree thing running around. So
Well, at least it wasn't a slug.
Okay, so All right, so we're good on that? All right, so, next meeting is October 17th, 5 p.m. And
I
I
will
am,
probably be zooming in on that one.
Okay.
I'll either be in Arizona or I'll be in Jersey City. I don't know which one yet.
so calling the meeting of the Bertha Tree Committee adjourned at 6:30 p.m.
You love that, don't you?
I do. I need it for what?
It's a little, there's one more thing I wanted to share, but I can.
Oh, you can still share it.
Okay, alright, sorry.
Is it something that needs to be in the meeting minutes? Is
We
it
can take back
personal?
the gavel, it's fine.
No, it's,
Oh, it's the tree sale.
well, so this was, what Amy said. This is when I brought up like the tree replacement programs kind of.
Yeah, we talked about this
And Amy said that Windsor has a sale
in April.
in April where they order through the same organization we do, the Colorado Tree Coalition.
Mhm.
And what they do is they get orders from their townsfolk to sell. And you know, it's not like they order a certain amount and then hope they sell them. Like every single tree is accounted for.
Yeah.
And they're $75 each. They're really manageable. They're just in airpot containers, and people can. There's one pickup day. It's not like we hold them for a week. It's just come get your tree this day, or too
We'll
bad,
plant it
so
somewhere
sad.
else.
Yeah, exactly. Or it becomes a town tree. It's really cool. This is the information sheet, so it shows all the varieties for that year. This was this year's selection, which is pretty much just what the Colorado Tree Coalition offers. And I think this is pretty good. I'm going to try to see if we can emulate something like this for our town.
Yes. I was gonna say, put it on the agenda for, when do you think would be a good time to decide on it? I mean, other than you working on it, cause I think that's great, but like to kind of do a tree committee thing on it. You wanna do it next meeting?
Would you want to see like a draft or just discuss it? 'Cause
Are you shooting for next spring?
I would like to get it up and, well, I'll have to talk to, you know, higher ups, town administrators and all that stuff and work out the kinks if there's anything that wouldn't work for our town. But, I'll just update you guys on that next time. See if this is something our town administrators find appealing, and maybe we could roll on this.
Okay, so deadline for them looks like mid-April. if
Yeah.
I'm reading right.
Yeah.
And then you pick up
opening
your
up-
Deadline
trees
for orders.
Mm.
And then, yeah, so then you pick up the trees 3 days later.
on the 16th between those times. Okay.
Mhm. The other thing that's cool about this is, like our street tree work permit that has a planting box, you have to submit your street tree work permit with the planting box checked, showing that it is going to be planted for a street tree. That's so these people don't take advantage of this program to do private trees,
Yeah.
which honestly is okay, but this would make sure that they would go to street trees. Let's see, drop off your order form, landscape permit, and proof of residency. So they kind of got their, everything covered there.
Yeah, or they gotta scan an email request to that address or email address.
I guess the one thought would be to make sure that the trees on there are on our list of recommended trees.
Yeah, I would have to just, and I haven't worked with this organization as much as Josh did in the past, so I don't know when they're gonna send me out their list, and I would definitely pick off the not so good ones. A lot of this stuff isn't even, it's not even mentioned in our recommended tree list,
Yeah.
so it's kind of a gray area on a lot of these.
Yeah, the Sensation Box Elder Maple. No thank you.
And actually, that one is allowed.
Is it really?
It's a male box elder tree, so it doesn't produce the,
Oh, as long as it's a male, then yeah.
yep, it does not produce the seeds that attract the box elder
Bugs.
bugs.
There's freaky bugs.
Yeah.
And you see no juniper is on here, which I appreciate.
They didn't do a lot of evergreens.
Kathy.
They smash these things into a pickup or like a trailer truck and then bring them down here.
The Oh, it's all over our recommended tree list. Lots of junipers out there.
So that was my little thing, sorry I didn't bring it up.
It's my personal to get it taken off.
Mine too.
Something that all suckers. But I just wanted to show you guys that.
It's a
Okay,
great
just put
idea.
it on, for the next.
So that could be a social media blitz once a week,
Mhm.
for, starting 4 weeks before the deadline and just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And we could provide planning instructions and all those
Yeah, it did
things,
on
make
that
sure
one.
it's done right.
Yeah, that too. That would be a great time, like, yeah, include planning.
And everyone's kind of
planting.
excited about plants at that like cusp of spring.
Yep. So, yeah, put it on the agenda specifically so that we don't forget. So, okay, so should we adjust our adjournment?
Sure.
6:35.
Amendment
Okay.
adjournment.
Adjusted.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. So, we'll see you guys. I'll have my next
Thanks,
section.
Linda, for all your feedback. It's really great.
Is this
Do
Linda?
you know this Kathy Mitchell? She was here when I wasn't here, I guess, but
Okay.
made some wanted to be a volunteer assisting us as well. And I made a
Yes.
name tag for her as
I
well.
don't remember her name, but I remember her.
Did you or Randy contact her?
I don't have any contact, I don't know.